Hey everyone, welcome back to Eclectic. So I got an email from a woman that asked, how do narcissistic people manage to make you feel bad, inadequate, stupid, not good enough, less than, ashamed, okay? How do they achieve that? Okay, so their personality structure needs to make you the recipient of everything that's not good in them. So we've already talked about projection, this mechanism where I linked the video where I talk about projection below, where the narcissist projects or puts everything that's not good on you. That's projection. Projective identification is one step further. First, they are attributing properties to you that they are not capable of dealing with. So they have internal conflicts, such as they themselves, knowing they are bad people, they are behaving badly, or maybe realizing that they're not as grandiose as they think, or maybe for a split second, maybe, seeing that somebody else is better than them or something. And so their personality structure, which is the structure of a narcissist, they have this mechanism where they project everything on you. And then there's this common shared fantasy with the victim or the target of abuse, where this person starts acting as if they were bad, stupid, inadequate, not good enough, less than. Those are all the things that the narcissist thinks he shouldn't deal with, and so he or she puts that onto you. And here's the step further of the projective identification concept, where the victim starts behaving as if they were that. And the narcissist starts behaving in inducing ways, which induces behavior. That's what the literature says. It says they induce this behavior in the victim. So the victim starts behaving as if they were not good enough, shameful, etc. And then there's one more component, and that's the narcissistic person controlling this sort of shared fantasy, right? The narcissistic person controls the behavior of the victim or the target of abuse by, for example, assuming this person is everything they just reject from themselves and has already projected on the victim. And so they're assuming that person behaves a certain way. For example, if a narcissist says to a victim, oh, you're so incapable, look at yourself, you're not good enough. I mean, look at yourself, you're not being able to manage, I don't know, cooking something, let's say, or you're so inadequate, look at you, that's their own internal conflict. They know they are that too, but they are depositing everything on the victim. And they start behaving in such a way that, oh, this person is a mess, is not capable. So they are controlling the fantasy in that way, right? And that's projective identification, where the victim starts behaving in the way the narcissist is telling them. And then we see clients that say, for example, I'm out and about, shopping, doing X, Y, and Z, and I start to look at myself and see if I'm well dressed, she said. And she feels shame, okay? And I feel shame, a bad person, out of nowhere, without any reason. And that's the consequence of projective identification. She introjected the projection, okay? So she identified with the projection, and so she behaves in that way. And so Melanie Klein mentions this part, and Otto Kernbergs too, where they say in different ways, that there's this thing that they do that is inducing the behavior, this evocative behavior. They start behaving in ways where they assume the victim is bad, not good enough, incapable, etc. Add to the list everything that a narcissist person can say to you. And so, it's a fantasy, and then the client comes to therapy assuming that they are not good enough, this is when they talk about losing their identity, because they lost it. They feel as if they don't have those attributes anymore, those good attributes that they knew they had before the narcissist. And so that's why I talk about a blender, a narcissistic blender, or a food processor, right? Because that's what happens. They turn you into something else. One of the ways they do this is through this projective identification, right? Where they project their bad stuff onto you, and then they control the situation by acting themselves in such a way that you will keep behaving in all the wrong ways. So stay there and don't move from that role, and keep working like that, being inadequate and not good enough, so that I can feel better, right? And that's a need, I would say, of the narcissistic personality structure, where they need that to survive. So this is why there's no love there. There's no real love there, because they need other people to survive themselves. So it's, if I don't have you being the receptive part of my not good things, bad things about myself, then it's a mess, and I will have to see that I have both things in me, and I cannot deal with that as a narcissistic person, right? And so they go to this mechanism where they manage to put everything that is wrong about them onto another person. And then this is where you start to understand why people feel as if they lost themselves. This is not me. So if you're feeling this, realize that this is a complex, it's a mechanism that they use unconsciously, right? To make other people the ones that are not good, guilty of everything, and not themselves. They're clean, right? They're perfect, they're grandiose. They need to maintain that facade of grandiosity, internal grandiosity. Once you know this, you can say, okay, so this that I'm feeling, my inner critic is feeding me continuously that I am not good enough, that I'm not so bad, that I won't be able to do X, Y, and Z, etc. It's not the truth. This is not mine. Okay, remember, this is not yours. Everything that you think that I'm not good enough, this shame that has no reason to exist, this shame that is toxic, is not yours. It belongs to the narcissist. So this is why I made this video where I mentioned things that the narcissist took away from you. This is it, It feels as if they take away from you things, where in reality, they're still there. Those things, those qualities and attributes are still there. It's only that you are still buying into this fantasy, this delusional fantasy where there's everything wrong about you and everything is okay about this person. And although you understand about narcissism and these concepts, you may feel as if you're still stuck there, and that's trauma, that's PTSD. But by you knowing this, you can start to challenge your inner critic and say, wait a moment, okay. Why am I feeling so bad? Like, why am I ashamed of what? Did I do anything wrong? So once you challenge the inner critic, you will start to see, okay, this isn't, it's not reality. Let's check and see what reality can say, right? And then you will see, okay, yeah, this is not mine. This idea that I'm not good enough, that I should be ashamed and all that, that's not mine. And it actually feels like that. It feels like this is yucky. It's like it's not yours. You've never felt like that. Whereas when you see there are things that are wrong with you, that you made a mistake, or you can say, okay, I'm not good with this, I'm not good at doing something. It feels like part of yourself, like it's true, you know, I'm not good at this, but I can deal with that because you're not narcissistic, you don't have a narcissistic personality disorder, so you can deal with that. But the narcissist needs to put that on you. So once you realize those are not yours, like they feel yucky actually, you say, this is not mine. No, it's not mine. You can start to disidentify from your inner critic. And that's how you start working on yourself. But I could continue for hours talking about this, but do you see how everything is linked when it comes to treatment of narcissistic abuse? So I hope this was useful. And if you have any questions, please leave them down below. Let me know what you're watching. Say hi. Hi, William. You always say hi. I'm saying hi today to you. Thank you for saying hi. And let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon, okay? See you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks.